Jen Psaki. Yeah, that Jen Psaki, the one that was the press secretary for Joe Biden, that would lie literally every single day about Joe Biden's health, about his mental status, about his policies.
The New York Times has authenticated emails that appear to have come from a laptop abandoned by Hunter Biden in Delaware. The president previously said that the New York Post story about this was a bunch of garbage and that it was a Russian plant. Does he stand by that assessment?
I pointed the Department of Justice and also to Hunter Biden's representatives. He doesn't work in the government. Go ahead.
Well, she ran over to MS Now and now leads a nightly show, and she's in deep trouble because she was caught potentially lying about Eric Trump, and Eric Trump's having none of it. Eric Trump just said over the weekend he plans to file suit against Jen Psaki and MS Now for defamation. And as you recall, Eric's father, Donald Trump, he's won $15 million, $30 million, $60 million, and gotten numerous settlements against the fake mainstream news media for defamation and lies. So is Jen Psaki just the next one that's going to come in line? Let me give you all the details that you need to know. Well, this all started to go south for Jen Psaki and MS Now last week during Donald Trump's visit to China to go see Xi and some of the Chinese administration and bat out some things. Well, Eric Trump and his wife accompanied Donald Trump on the trip, and Eric explicitly has said, I am not going for anything other than for support of my father. I have no business interests in China, and I'm not going there to represent any business interests. Well, evidently, Jen Psaki didn't get the memo.
Guess where Trump's adult son Eric is right now? Well, he's with his father in China. Now, Eric Trump does not have a role in the U.S. government. In fact, he's supposed to be sort of firewalled off from any U.S. government activities because he took over the family businesses when his father re-entered the White House, supposedly to prevent conflicts of interest. But there he is. You can see him. Now, I should say that when asked about Eric Trump joining the trip, the White House simply said that there were no conflicts of interest there. I guess thanks for that. A spokesperson for Eric himself said that Eric was just joining the president in his own personal capacity, saying that Eric will not participate in any discussions or meetings related to any business entity, and that Eric Trump does not have business ventures in China or plans on doing business with China. Now, that is quite an interesting denial, given this piece.
Now, keep in mind, Jen Psaki again was the press secretary during the Biden administration when she was being asked daily, if not weekly, to tell the truth about the Burisma connection and the other nefarious activities that Hunter Biden explicitly had. It was on his laptop. It was all over mainstream news other than the captured propaganda news on the left, where people were wanting to know answers because it was clear. I mean, he had board seats. Here, Jen Psaki's just elucidating and trying to connect some dots that are just not there. And Eric made clear it's not there. The White House spokesperson said it's not there, but that wasn't enough for Jen Psaki.
It's in the Financial Times out just today. And here's the headline. Eric Trump joins Beijing trip as family-linked group chases China deal. You see, Eric is on the board of a company called Alt-5 Sigma, and you can see him and Don Jr. here ringing the opening bell at the NASDAQ.
I'm going to pause here. Remember this company, Alt-5 Media, and remember the statement that Jen Psaki just said, connecting Eric Trump to a board seat along with his brother, Don. That's going to come into play. I'll give you some more details in a bit.
With the name of that company and the name of the Trump family crypto company right behind them. Well, today, while Eric is in China with his dad, the Financial Times is reporting that this company has a memorandum of understanding to explore a potential deal with a Chinese computer chip manufacturer to build AI data centers and a whole bunch of other AI-related stuff. Oh, and guess what else? That Chinese firm they have that memorandum of understanding with, well, Congress has warned that that company is connected to the Chinese Communist Party. Now, neither the Chinese chip manufacturer or Alt-5 responded to the Financial Times request for comment, but it certainly seems like Eric might be getting a little more than just quality time with his dad out of this China trip, doesn't it? I mean, I could go on and on and on about all of the sketchy ways that Trump's sons are making money while their dad is president. Just last month, Eric was on Fox Business bragging out loud about how one of his companies scored a $24 million contract with the Pentagon. Last year, a company partially owned by Trump's other adult son, Don Jr., landed a nearly $5 million contract with the U.S. Air Force. And both of Trump's sons are now part owners in a new drone company that is hoping to win major Pentagon contracts. Now, I should say that all of those companies deny there's any conflict of interest, as do Don and Eric. But wouldn't it be great if someone, say the IRS, were to check, given how clear the potential conflicts of interest are? You would think that Trump and his sons would deserve more financial scrutiny, not less.
You would think that Jen Psaki would be able to read the room. Again, she was the defender-in-chief for Hunter Biden and for Joe Biden on a daily basis. We all know that there was something there to all of the questions as to what Joe Biden was doing overseas. Did he have any financial interests? Did Hunter Biden have any financial interests? We knew there was something there. And maybe, to your point, Jen, that the IRS should have looked. Oh, that's right. They did. And whistleblowers said that they did. And whistleblowers were actually fired by the IRS when they brought to the attention of their management that there's something here. So all of this is just particularly rich. But let me get to Eric Trump's response, because I think that's going to provide us some more details about where this potential suit may go. So Eric Trump put this on X over the weekend, and this is his response. I want to read it clearly because there's a lot here. I intend to sue Jen Psaki and MS Now over the below clip, the clip that I just played. And this is some of the points that Eric Trump wants to be very clear on. Contrary to her, Jen's monologue and blatant lies, I have never been on the board of Alt5. Not now, not ever. Any person with basic access to Google and willing to open up a company's annual report or proxy statements would know this. Jen Psaki didn't go to that effort. Second point, I have zero involvement in any merger discussions involving any public entity I do not run or control. Third point, I have zero business interests in China. No properties, no investments, nothing. Last point, I joined this trip for one reason. As a loving son who adores my father and wouldn't miss being by his side for this incredible moment. During the bilateral talks that were going on with Trump and his team, he was escorted and went with Laura, his wife, to the Great Wall of China. So Eric, again, went on a tourist excursion versus joining his father in any of these talks. So where does this go? We don't know. And quite frankly, Eric Trump hasn't filed suit yet against Jen Psaki and MS Now. So again, still in the early phases of this, but it's important here to see where we are. That the Trump family has had enough with the defamation, with the lies, with the manipulation. This is an old hat trick by the left. Jen Psaki did this trick daily for the Biden administration. But the reality of the matter is that when you lie about the Trump family and maliciously lie and intentionally lie, knowing that those facts aren't true, or, as Eric pointed out in his statement, not even going to just an ounce of effort to try to see if he's on the board or if he has any business interests or where was he during the bilateral talks. None of this was of interest to MS Now and Jen Psaki. So just a little bit of journalistic integrity and effort on the account of Jen Psaki and MS Now would have shown that there's nothing there. But they didn't want to do that. They wanted to go out of their way to advance the narrative that Eric Trump was up to no good in accompanying his father overseas. I'm curious what you think. Did I miss anything? What are your thoughts? If you had to give Jen Psaki and MS Now any advice on how the Trump family is going to go about this potential defamation lawsuit. If you've yet to subscribe to the channel, we'd love to have you. This is the Chris Slock Show. where we do God, we do country, and we do family talk all the time. This is what we are as a channel. So if that's what you are, we'd love to, again, have you join our community. And be sure you like this video if you want to see more just like this in the future. Now, we made it easy for you to subscribe just over my left shoulder. You could click my face, and that would bring you to the subscribe channel. And then over my right shoulder, we have a few videos. Go ahead and click one that you'd like to see, and that'll be played for you next. We'll see you in the very next video.